Zelda Breath of the Wild is hands down my most favorite Zelda game in the franchise, and watching the trailer to the sequel of Breath of the Wild made me so excited to play it. One of the things that made me really excited was what kind of new weapons are we going to see in the game, which gave me an idea for this video. So I wanted to make a top 10 video of my favorite weapons in Breath of the Wild before the sequel to Breath of the Wild comes out. Before we get started, I will not be including the amiibo drops or the Master Sword, and I will also not be including the one-hit obliterator. I'll also be judging these weapons on how fun they are and how unique they are. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, I knew making this list was gonna be hard, so I thought really hard to find out what I wanted to put on this list, and number 10 will be a shocker for you. I love the Korok Gleaf. Just one hit from this weapon and all enemies will go flying with a gust of wind blowing them away. Could you just imagine taking away all the enemies' weapons and just giving them Korok Gleafs? Seeing enemies flying across the screen is just the best thing to see. I can understand from a casual player, but I'm one of those people who are really into the combat in Breath of the Wild. That is why you see it on my list. Yes, the Savage Lionel Shield takes number 9 on my list. Okay, the reason why one of the Lionel Shields are on my list because they are the only shields in the game that deal damage to enemies. The Lionel Shield is so unique that you can kill enemies with only a shield and nothing else. So if you just want to show off and impress everyone around you and look like a show off, just use the Lionel Shield and just kill any enemy in the game. Could you just imagine Link saving Hyrule with only a shield? That would be the best thing to see. The remote bombs are next on my list. Standard bombs in Zelda games are okay to use, but when you get to control when they blow up, it just makes the game even more fun. Given the ability to detonate bombs whenever you want opens up a lot of possibilities and fun things you can do in the game. Like you could be flying over a bunch of enemies and just drop a bomb on them. I'm really excited to see if the remote bombs will change in Breath of the Wild 2. We'll just have to wait and see. Okay, I know what you're gonna say. The golden bow doesn't even do that much damage. You're right, but have you ever seen a bow in a Zelda game that lets you zoom in? The golden bow is so unique because it is a sniper bow. You don't really see that many bows in Breath of the Wild that are snipers except the golden bow and the ferric bow. The reason why the golden bow is on this list and not the ferric bow, because you can find golden bows more easier than ferric bows in the game. The golden bow is so fun and unique that I had to put it on this list. Hands down, the Ancient Shield would have to be my favorite shield in Breath of the Wild. In my opinion, the Ancient Shield is the most overpowered shield in the game. The Ancient Shield has 2 abilities and one of them is only on this shield. The Ancient Shield is known as the second fastest shield in the game, right behind the Radiant Shield. Now, the Radiant Shield would have been on the list if the Ancient Shield didn't have the ability to reflect Guardian Lasers without parrying them. The Ancient Shield is so overpowered that I had to include it on my list. You know what's better than a small boomerang? A giant boomerang! Yes, the giant boomerang takes 5th place on my list. Boomerangs are one of my most favorite weapons in the Zelda games, and two-handed weapons are also my favorite kind of weapons in Breath of the Wild, and combining the two together was the best thing they have ever done. I love just going around Hyrule swinging this at enemies and throwing it at them. Take that, and take that! It's a lot of fun. Hey, I'm not done talking about boomerangs just yet. I love how at night in Breath of the Wild, you could just be walking around and suddenly boom, skeleton enemies come out of nowhere. You kill them and find out you can pick up their arms and use them as weapons. That's so cool and genius! The Lizalfo's arm would have to be the most funniest weapon in the game. I love how the developers made sure that the hand on the arm would move. And that's so cool, it's almost like you have a little buddy with you. I'm surprised no one talks about this weapon that much. The Meteor Rod would have to be hands down my most favorite elemental rod. Like you are literally holding a magic rod that shoots little meteors out of it. One of the things I love about this weapon is when you summon a meteor and it ricochets off everything it hits. I'm surprised no one has done a meteor rod trick shot challenge before. I would love to see that. Yes, the flame rod is just so much fun to use in this game that it had to be on this list. Now you must be wondering, what could be number 2 on Double Coffee's list? It's probably something powerful and strong like the Lionel weapons or the Royal Guard weapons. It's probably... Okay, let me explain. When you play a game, what do you want to do? You want to have fun, not being overpowered and getting the game done and over with. Okay? Boring stupid isn't fun. Fun stupid is fun, and you'll hear that from a lot of people. The spring-loaded hammer is so unique that attacking an enemy on the 4th swing would send it flying across the screen. It's the most funniest and beautiful thing to see in this game. Okay, we have finally made it to number 1 on my list. You guys are probably saying, Double Coffee, what could be better than the spring-loaded hammer? Well, what if I told you there was a weapon in the game that has infinite durability? Sounds impossible, right? Well, hold on to your chairs because number 1 on my list is... the Cuckoos! Okay, you guys are probably saying, but Double Coffee, the Cuckoos are not a weapon. You're right. But just hear me out. The Cuckoos in Zelda games have been one of the most dangerous animal NPCs to mess with. If you hit a Cuccoo a couple times, it will send a swarm of Cuckoos at you, which is unavoidable. And having the ability to send a swarm of Cuckoos at enemies in Breath of the Wild is one of the best things to do. You two are like the best tag team partners, and if you lose a Cuccoo, just go back to Kakariko Village and get a new one, they're free. Even though they are not considered a weapon, they will always be number 1 on my list. And with all that said, that is the end of this video. I hope you all enjoyed this video and have a great day.